What is up, guys? My name is Roshan and I currently work as a business analyst in Dubai. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I would become a business analyst if I were to start again. And hopefully this helps you save time and effort in your journey. Let's get started. There's two main questions that we need to ask ourselves. Number one is, how do I become a business analyst? Number two is, how do I get a job as a business analyst? Let's start with question one. For that, let's try and understand the role a little better. A business analyst is someone who analyzes data using a certain set of tools to either identify an opportunity or find a solution to a problem. And then he or she communicates this opportunity or solution to the relevant stakeholders. Now, usually you would take a bachelor's degree in finance, business, or economics to start working as a business analyst. However, there are a lot of people who are working as a business or a data analyst without these degrees. But basically, to become a business analyst, there's just three things. Number one is learning to be a good analytical thinker. Number two is learning to be a good communicator. Number three is learning the tools that are necessary to analyze data. To become a better analytical thinker, you need to start asking the right questions. This will help you examine the evidence better and also break down a complex problem into smaller parts. That way, it will be a lot easier for you to structure your solution. I would recommend reading this book called Case in Point. It's a lot to take in initially, but you don't have to by heart any of the formulas or the frameworks. Just by passively reading it, you will improve your problem-solving skills. I would also recommend watching a couple YouTube videos around case interviews, since it will not just help you with your problem-solving capability, but also with your communication. Which brings us to point two. Learning to be a good communicator is extremely important for almost any role that you apply to. If you're already good at communicating, then that's great. If not, what I would recommend is joining public speaking clubs like Toastmasters to get you out of your comfort zone and speaking fluently. Now, the final task at hand is to learn the tools necessary to analyze data. There are a lot of different tools that you can use to analyze data, and depending on the company, your scope of work and toolkit will change. But the two most important tools are SQL and Excel. With these two tools, you can store the data, fetch it, analyze it, and finally present it in the form of reports and charts. What would be a good add-on to have knowledge of are dashboarding tools like Power BI and Tableau, and data modeling tools like Python and R. But if I were to prioritize, I would focus just on Excel and SQL. Alright, this is Future Roshan. I thought I'd quickly share my screen and show you exactly what you would need to learn for both Excel and SQL. So in Excel, you need to know how to use lookup functions. These functions will help you fetch and merge data from different sources. So that's using VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, indirect or index. The next thing that you would need to know are conditional functions. These functions will help you apply a certain logic to your analysis. The next one is text functions. A few examples are search, left, mid, right. So these are text functions that you would need to know in order to either clean your data or make it more usable. And finally, you would need to know how to use pivot tables. This is so that you can slice and dice the data that you have. And what would be good to have is knowledge of macros if you want to automate anything, linear forecasting, or learning to use the solver tool on Excel. So this will help you with data modeling. But these are good to have. What would be a must are these. All right, for SQL, what I would recommend is getting started on websites like Codecademy and Coursera. So you can go on to Codecademy, look for Introduction to a SQL course, and it's completely free of cost. You can start by doing that course. That'll get the ball rolling for you. And once you're done with the course, you can solve problems on LeetCode and HackerRank. And if in case you're looking for a good paid course, then there's the Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate offered on Coursera, which you can take. I will leave the links to all of these courses in the description below. If you're looking for a free course for Excel, what I would recommend is going on to Skillshare and signing up, because you get 1 month of free course content when you sign up. Or another solution would be just to Google each of these functions and start learning those. So that is another way you could go about it. Once you're done learning to be a business analyst, how do you then get a job as a business analyst? Your resume and your cover letter are two of the most important things that you would need when you're looking for a job. And I would recommend spending a day or two just working on your template, because this is going to be a one-time investment. Once you have the template ready for these two, you will just have to send it out to the different roles with minor tweaks as you apply. So this is a Standford link that tells exactly what guidelines to follow when building your resume and what guidelines to follow when building your cover letter. Now, you don't necessarily need to follow this to the T, but it's good to read through this and have an understanding. Now, to start creating your resume, you could go onto this website called kickresume.com. It's basically an AI tool that will help you generate your resume, and it's also free of cost. So if you go into the pricing tab, you can get 4 basic resume templates and 4 matching cover templates completely free of cost. I'll also drop a link to these sample template resumes in the description below so you can use it for reference as you build your own resume. Do note that these are just templates for reference, so don't try and copy paste everything that is there here into your resume. Once you have your resume and your cover letter, then the next step is to network and get referrals. Alright, so this is the basic framework that I would follow to get a referral. Now, the best way to get into a company is through a referral. And in order to do that, the first thing is you need to know if a certain company is hiring for the role that you're interested in. You can use LinkedIn to find the company that is hiring for the role that you're looking for. Next, you need to try and connect with the person and try to get him or her to give you a referral. Now, to connect and get a referral, you can send a message, something along these lines. And once you're done sending it, you then repeat the process. And the hard part here is how do you deal with the rejections or the countless number of times you don't get a response? Because when I was initially looking for a job, I would apply to well over 100 and I would get a response from 1 or maybe 2.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
The thing is, you need to be patient because all you need is one of them to click for you. So my suggestion is to just repeat this process and be patient. Also, if you can get a little creative, instead of sending a LinkedIn connection, if you know the address of the office, maybe you can walk into the office and hand your resume, or maybe send it by Emirates Post. Getting creative will definitely also increase your chances. That's it for this video. Hope you found it useful, and I'll see you in the next.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.